Goody, what's your message to Melbourne fans concerned that you're struggling now to turn this form slump around, particularly later in the season with some of your better players back?
Yeah, look, I can understand their disappointment. I can understand their frustration, and I think they deserve better. You know, tonight was unacceptable and probably reflective of where we've been for the year in some ways and in how the game was played out. But we're going to take responsibility. You know, we're in a poor position right now as a footy club. But we're going to work really hard at getting ourselves out of it. And the only way we're going to do that is together. And, you know, we've got a lot of work to do, but I've got full confidence in our players and our club that we're going to stick together and we're going to work our way through it. But there's no question we're in a poor position right now.
Some of the players have spoken about a pact where they said they resolved to try and get some momentum later in the season. Are you concerned that it was lacklustre and there was a lack of verve and spark and energy tonight that just couldn't materialise?
Yeah, look, we've probably had that for the last month, to be honest with you, Tom. But there's elements of the game that certainly weren't to the level. There's elements that were, but I think it's probably a bit reflective of where we're at. You know, it's I've got full confidence in these players, and I'll keep saying it. But we've got a lot of work to do. But right now, where we sit now, we're in a really poor position. But, you know, in terms of the way the game, it's just unacceptable in terms of the result. And our supporters would feel that, and they deserve better. And we're going to make sure as a club, and we're going to fight our way out of this, and we'll eventually make them proud.
Simon, that was probably a performance that actually probably resembled performance from the era that preceded your time at the club. In Sydney, you've only a bottom four team, 6 wins. Is that, I guess, when you look from the fans' perspective, you know, the lack of hope there that it looked like tonight, is that of concern to you, how it looked tonight?
Yeah, look, I'm not really interested in the past, and I've said this since the time I've been sitting in this seat, that I'm not really interested in what's happened in the past about where the club's come from. I'm interested in what we're going to do. You know, we've built this club on some really strong foundations over 4 years, and we've started to get to a point this year. You know, we need to take responsibility as coaches, as players, as a whole club about how we build our program and do it better. But what I am going to say is that we've got the people here in terms of our players, and we're going to stay together and we're going to work hard. And when this season finishes and the new season starts, we'll be in another phase of where we're in hope and we've got some belief. And right now, we're going to make sure that we get things right and come back better as a club.
Simon, do you think you can find some solutions in the coming draft?
Oh, look, you know, I think, you know, the draft's an opportunity for us to get better. Draft, free agency, trade, it's an opportunity for every club to get better. So no doubt we're going to be pretty proactive. We'll have a look at all avenues to improve our list. But, you know, I'm really confident, you know, with the guys, even though we're missing a few, that we'll get a good group together heading into next year.
Simon Jordan, obviously a great servant of the club. He had his family here tonight. I think Ruffy was here as well, and Buddy had a good chat to him before the game. Could that have been his last game here at the MCG? Is he contemplating retirement?
Oh, you know, they're the discussions that we're having all the time with Jordan. I'm sure that'll come out in due course, you know, what his decisions are. I'm not going to sit here tonight and fill you in. We've had ongoing discussions over a long period of time. So I'm sure when Jordan's ready, he'll let everyone know what's going on.
Did Max Gore pick up an injury late in the match there, Simon?
No, Max came off. He had a tight hamstring. He certainly hasn't done it, but you know the game was done, and you know he'd had a huge workload, so we put him on ice and make sure he's right for next week.
So Simon, I think 5 goals from 54 inside 50s. Again,
yeah.
Wastefulness and inefficiency. It seems to be a recurring thing. Do you feel like just like banging head against a brick wall at times, how it just always happens?
Our inefficiency at the moment is making the scoreboard look worse. There's no doubt about that. You know, we had 54 inside 50s, and we had probably the smallest forward line I've ever seen in terms of what we had down there. You know, with the personnel that we had, and we struggled to find an avenue to goal. And they defended us really well. So it is a bit reflective of a year in some ways, but it's probably the first time for a long time that we've actually got some territory and some inside 50s back in our game.
Jake Melksham battled pretty manfully down there. 3 goals, 5 I think he finished with.
Yeah, look, that's his 3rd game back, I think. So he's starting to come into a bit of form. You know, he missed a big patch of the season, so he's a bit rusty for the first couple of weeks. But tonight, you know, he's showing how important he is to our side, and to have 8 shots at goal. You know, would have liked him to kick a couple more, but he's starting to get back to where we think he can play at the level.
Do you feel that the team is a 9-goal worse team than another bottom 4 team, or do you think that's not reflective of what you firmly believe that the team is?
Oh, tonight the Swans were.
Yeah.
They played better than us, but I've got full faith in us as a club and our players. And the scoreboard tonight might not be reflective, but we'll get our chance to do something about it, and we look forward to that opportunity.
We spent the whole year pointing out things that have gone wrong, asking about the things that have gone wrong. Like, we probably hold up 18 of these sheets that all look sort of the same. But how do you turn it around then? I mean, you talk about the faith you got in your players. So
yeah.
What can you do and what do you do over the next few months to get the team back to where we remember them from last year?
We look at every area of our club. We come back to our pre-season as a playing group and a coaching staff with a clear method of play. We get our basics and our fundamentals right. We get fit, we get healthy. And we come back with a determination to take this club forward again. It's pretty simple. There's no magic formula in it. It's doing the work and coming ready to go.
Simon, do you think that would require an external review of the football operations, or are you confident you can handle it internally?
There were times tonight looking at the game that a portion of the game players were quite passive, almost out there. Did you see that as well? They sort of just let the game go on a certain course?
I think elements of the game we struggled in transition.
Yeah.
But if you look at our contest numbers, they were okay. But I think we got out-tackled and out-hunted around the critical areas of the ground, and we lost too many one-on-ones. But transition, we're struggling to cover the ground required just at the moment.
Why is that? What can you defend?
Well, we're just where we're turning the ball over is a bit of an issue. And our ability and our method of play is just not quite in sync at the moment. We're not cohesive in the way we're playing in any phase, really. So that's the work we've got to do. You asked me the work we've got to do. We've got plenty of work to do to get our game. And I think what the great thing about last year, and I don't really want to talk about last year, but when Melbourne supporters came to the game and you guys came to the game, you saw a style of play that was identifiable. At the moment, no one can see that. And that would be clearly frustrating. And that's what we're going to work on getting. A style of play and a method of play that when people come and watch Melbourne, they know what we're going to stand for, and that's what we're going to work really hard on getting.
At one stage, Simon, it looked like Clayton Oliver gave some pretty direct feedback to Fritsch. Did he overstep the line there? Did you see that, or that's just part of the puzzle?
I haven't seen it, Tom.
Is this season taking a bit of a toll on you, Simon?
Oh, I think it's been, without question, it's been a challenging year, but at the same time, it's probably been one of my biggest learnings in coaching, and it's reinforced the things that we need to get right. And I take responsibility for that. I sit here at a team that's 17th on the ladder, and I take responsibility for where we sit, but it's reinforced the things that I know we need to get right. And I'll learn from that experience. I'll learn from where we got to and where we are now. And it's hurting me greatly because I know how much the Melbourne supporters want us to be great, and my mission is to make that our club the greatest club we can possibly be.
Simon, my view is that perhaps it's a mark of respect for you and a well-deserved one, but what do you make of this argument that you guys have escaped scrutiny this year and you've become irrelevant? That's sort of a discussion that's sort of doing the rounds.
Look, I think we'll get the scrutiny we deserve. We're 17th. I'm sure the scrutiny's there. So I'm not going to buy into whether we're getting the scrutiny that, that everyone thinks we are. But we take responsibility for that, and we're going to try and do something about it. We welcome it because we are where we are.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Simon.